The battle for lanes has begun. Back on Lake Washington, we are inside 2 minutes to the start of the winner-take-all final heat. The field has been set. It will be Dave Villwock and Miss Budweiser, our top point getter on the day. Just behind him in points, and perhaps not in speed, Terry Troxel in Miss Elam Plus. J.W. Myers in the Lumar Window Film has a spot in the final, as does Steve Hook in Miss Beacon Plumbing, J. Michael Kelly in the Graham Trucking, and Steve David in the Old Boy Oberto. Coming up on the 1 minute mark, Mark Evans. We have talked about how slow these starts have been, and they are setting a new record here. They are crawling up the backstretch.
I just can't get over it. It must be that mental thing with that score-up buoy being so far down the back one, just as you enter right there.
Now, the score-up buoy is the entrance pin to the north turn, and they were at 50 seconds, so they were okay, but you're still way too early. You shouldn't be way up here with 41 seconds to go to the start.
No, you shouldn't at all. You should be way back on the corner there, because you need to fly and run at the starts. I mean, we used to in the old days, so to speak, so it could be frustrating for some of the drivers. I know the fans have been freaking out about it.
And you should explain the reason they went so slow was it does help you get the inside, and that's a big issue here.
It sure is. You want the inside lane in Seattle, as rough as it is and as tough as it can be, but boy, they're creeping up there slow, and that still seems a little bit early. They need to start getting on the throttle here soon.
Terry Troxel is leading the field with 10 seconds to go right there. He can pick up the pace just a little bit. Off to his left, your right, is Dave Villwock in Miss Budweiser. The yellow boat that is in lane 3 is J.W. Myers in the Lumar Window Film. There's the start. Oh, it was close. Troxel had his nose right on the line. He is the leader into the first turn, Mark. If it's a legal start for Terry Troxel, he's going to be in great shape.
Man, that was close, but he needed to be out front to beat the Budweiser from that lane, so I'll bet you he's just gritting his teeth and going for it now, but what a race we got on our hands.
Troxel has the hammer down. He has Dave Villwock, one of the most successful unlimited hydroplane racers of all time, and perhaps the best race boat that's ever been in this or any class of boat racing, and right now he has a lead on him, about a half a rooster tail. It is Terry Troxel into the north turn. Oh, he hit a big lump there, as did Villwock, so they both scrape off some speed as they come down to finish lap 1. Troxel has built a bit of a lead on Dave Villwock.
He sure has, man. That's one fun thing to have, is the Budweiser on your inside and in your mirrors, boy. They did a heck of a turn there. Let's see what happens in this next lap.
Now we are receiving word Terry Troxel was over the line, Mark.
Oh, man. Oh, no, that hurts. That's going to hurt, man.
It's all going to go for naught. We just received word on the official radio, so he should be hearing it as well right now. He is still going hard. He's certainly racing hard, but he is not in first place. Miss Budweiser is. Dave Villwock was the first legal starter. He is second on the water. J.W. Myers in the Lumar Window Film, third on the water, is actually second right now. What a heartbreaker for Terry Troxel. About a third of a second later at the start, and he'd be leading the final heat.
Oh, man, that's a heartbreaker. I'm sure they're telling him on the radio, and I'm sure he's arguing back. No, I wasn't. You got to just keep going. Something like this is kind of tough. You get, especially in a final, you got 5 laps, you know. If you got some people lagging, you can possibly catch them, you know, and lap them and get some points. But, man, you're here to win the race. This is going to be a tough one.
Troxel flying the orange boat down the front straightaway, as Mark said, probably at 185 miles or so. He would be in great shape to win this final heat and take home the trophy in the 2004 Chevrolet Cup at Seafair. About a third of a second early at the start, Mark, at 185 miles per hour. It's fairly hard to judge, I'm sure, and to be over by that scant little fraction is really going to ruin his day. But a worse day, perhaps, for Steve Hook and Miss Beacon Plumbing. He is dead in the water and will not be a factor here in the final. So our leader, Dave Villwock, Miss Budweiser, no matter how you shake it out, the red boat seems to end up out front, doesn't it?
Oh, man, he is. He's going to be happy. The Bud Camp's going to be happy about this. They've been take a win however you can, but I still can't get over Troxel getting that early on the line. That's a tough one.
Not a done deal, though, as Villwock still needs to complete a couple more laps here. It's a 5-lap final heat. Look at that water up there, Mark. That is really rough.
It's atrocious, especially when you're crossing back over the other guy's wakes back and forth. That's how Nate, I think, got on his head. But Budweiser's holding the old Lumar Window Films in there tight, and J-Dub's going to have to cross over himself, and that's going to be a tough call.
Dave Villwock into the south turn one more time. Not quite as rough down here as it is up at the other end of the race course, because the wind is coming in from the north, so he'll be running into the wind up the backstretch. And when he gets to that north turn, it is really choppy up there. Dave Villwock on his way perhaps to yet another unlimited hydroplane victory. He won the first race of the season easily in Madison, Indiana. Ran into some problems in Detroit where he was disqualified for some pre-race bumping. And now here on his way to victory in Seattle, battle. It's been all Dave Villwock here in 2004.
Man, he's been trying to stay clean all weekend after that bumping and stuff like you say out the Gold Cup. You got to stay clean. He's done a good job this weekend.
Dave Villwock and Miss Budweiser running first on the water. Second, after the penalty to Terry Troxel, is J.W. Myers in the Lumar window film. Third on the water, Steve David and the Oh Boy Oberto. That would be a great finish for them after the day they've had. Fourth place currently J. Michael Kelly, but Terry Troxel is coming after him. He may make up the lap on Kelly and take over fourth place. So Troxel no longer fifth on the water as he goes by J. Michael Kelly up into fourth place. Not a big victory for Terry, but it'll at least let him feel good about passing somebody.
Yeah, I know after something like that, you got to get something out of it. Oh, I just still feel for him, and that's one thing. You're a racer, and you want to just keep going for it.
Troxel continues to run hard. Dave Villwock taking it perhaps a little easy. He knows that he has the second place boat, J.W. Myers, well behind him, and Dave Villwock will cruise to victory with Miss Budweiser unless something goes wrong here in the next few seconds. You've had that feeling, Mark, in this very team's boat on your way to victory, knowing you have the best equipment in the sport under you has to feel pretty good.
It sure does, boy, right from the get-go. Everything they got's quality, and the team members are quality. The whole thing is. It's just a cool team to drive for, and I know Dave's having a great time.
J.W. Myers continuing to give chase, but it won't be enough. It's a good drive for the 2003 Rookie of the Year. It's going to put him in second place in pursuit of Terry Troxel, who is out ahead of everybody as he has been throughout this final heat, but he was out ahead of everybody just a little too far at the start, Mark, and that's going to be a real heartbreaker for the Elstrom family. They're going to have to watch Dave Villwock take another checkered flag and a victory here in the 2004 Chevrolet Cup at Seafair.
Well, that's the way it goes. As they say in racing, anything can happen, and the Budweiser did a great job making their starts today, as a lot of other guys did, and that's just part of it. I feel for the Elstrom teams and Terry Troxel, but like I say, that's the way it goes.
And that's the voice of Mark Evans. We'll send him down to the winner's dock to get a word with a very happy Dave Villwock and his owner, Joe Little. First place going to Miss Budweiser, Dave Villwock here at the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair. Second will go to J.W. Myers and the Lumar window film. Third to Steve David and the old boy Oberto, with a nice comeback for that team after a lot of frustration on the day. Terry Troxel set back a lap, actually picked up a spot. He was fifth after the penalty, managed to get J. Michael Kelly behind him in the Graham Trucking, and finished fourth with J. Michael.
What you said you were going to do.
Had to make something exciting happen, and luckily, you know, we did a little something to get Terry a little off the game, I guess, and he, you know, got on the gas a little too soon, and
you guys were so early, though, coming up for the start, man. You're backpedaling.
Oh, man, we were way early, but I knew it was going to be a game that we were going to be pushing the envelope for how slow they were going to let us go, and who could come up with a timing mark. Luckily, this morning, I came up with a timing mark off of the last buoy before the start going, I don't think anybody else is doing that. I'm going to do it. And that paid dividends right there because I had a timing mark to go to, and I don't think Terry did.
Well, great job, man. Shake your hand. All right.
Thank you,
Take care.
The Budweiser